5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go. So we'll be seeing that rush right after the beginning towards that Iron Island. Teams probably get up on top of their cake, get a couple archers going, and get those bridges going so that they can get a staircase up to that Iron Island, get control of that, get armor for the teams. But actually it looks like we have Dropout immediately going for a bridge to the diamond deposits on the left hand side, and also going for the strength pot as well as the Iron Island. So they have 3 bridges going right now, and none of them have been shot. Okay, 2 of them were killed. One going to the Iron Island, and one going to the strength potion. But the one that went to the left hand diamond deposits has made it. So that's a fast and bridge to the diamonds that they'll be able to secure and get the diamonds back relatively quickly. Looks like Dropout made it the majority of the way towards the Iron Cake, but I haven't connected it yet. Same for the JackHammers, they're about halfway there, while Dropout is just connecting just now. So Dropout does have a bridge straight to their iron, and JackHammers, about 1 block away from completing that bridge. And Dropout really widening the staircase, make sure it's as secure as possible. But they're also securing these diamonds, which is going to be huge for them if they're able to get these. And they're also going straight for the strength bot diamonds as well. So they're going to be in a really good position, Dropout, if they can get control and back with all of those supplies. While JackHammers is more focusing on securing and getting up to this Iron Island, they have a very secure bridge and staircase up there. This way they can't get shut off. They have the staircases so they can get up there quickly. And Dropout is just now securing and kind of advancing the staircase. They don't have any staircase blocks on it yet, but they have a wall in front, so they'll be able to get up relatively uncontested. While JackHammers' bridge, I think, is a little more evolved. They got the buttons shut. I like this buttons thing because as teams get control of your Iron Island and they run down, it's a bit harder for them to block up your staircase, which is a bit interesting. They have to take the time to break the buttons or break these blocks to block it up. So it can save you that kind of 5 to 10 seconds and give you an opportunity to get back up to your Iron Island and regain control. It looks like Smash Climb was able to get an iron pick and all 6 of those diamond blocks, so he'll get those back into his base, and we'll probably see a defender on the main cake and one on the iron cake, both fully decked out in diamond armor, and they'll be the guys that are probably most likely to be hanging back, you know, locking down the fort if there is a push, calling things out. So good play on them, and they're almost at the strength pot diamonds, but not quite there. And looks like JackHammers making a straight bridge straight across, and they're connecting actually right through the middle to Dropout's bridge from the strength pot. And we have Santy22 just solo rushing across. Actually, he's gonna stop and block it up, but that's actually a really big deal because if they can get control of this, they can deny Dropout the strength pot and the diamonds with the strength pot, and get diamonds for themselves. It looks like that's exactly what they'll be doing, trying to secure that bridge across so that they can get over there and possibly use this as a means of attack if they're not going to go for this kind of iron cake push. It looks like they're not, because they don't have many people up here. They still have a lot of people down on their main cake and also across on this bridge. So this will be an interesting point of contention in between the 2 teams. It looks like Dropout has everything set up on their iron cake to take on a prolonged fight, so they can kind of just jump shoot and lock it down from here. It looks like Wenzu gonna push over, try to take out Knight, but Knight takes him out fairly easily.
And we're back. I'm here now.
Alright. So Dropout was able to get back with all 6 diamonds from the left-hand diamond deposit, and they were trying to bridge over towards that strength bot, but JackHammers just kind of sneakily flat bridge right across the middle, connecting the 2 bridges, and now they're going to be going towards those diamonds in that strength bot, and most likely be able to control it. They're getting shot at a little bit from that iron cake, but the position they're in, they'll be able to get this lockdown most likely, unless Dropout pulls out some rush or push from out of nowhere and takes control of this, but I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon.
We've got a lot of base work on Dropout's side.
Just go check out their base.
A lot. You got like 3 people down there working on things.
Oh, wow. Yeah, so they're actually digging out a bunch of blocks around the core, which is always relatively useful. It can help knock people out when they're in your base.
Yeah, that's probably one of the most useful.
Yeah. Putting glass around the core gives you that 1 extra block of protection, but it also works as a kind of alarm. When you hear that glass break, it's kind of an oh shit moment, if you will. Like, there's glass breaking, that means someone's at the core, and we need to go check on that immediately. And then they also have the fence plates going up underneath, or the fence gates going up underneath the core, which is okay, and that'll kind of slow the leak. But the only problem is fences can burn, so eventually they will burn through. The lava will burn through and leak, but it can give you those extra seconds that are sometimes oh so precious. So
Can fences catch fire?
I believe they can. Yeah.
Yeah. They would have to have air next to them, though.
Well, there's air on top, so they'd be able to. Because the top of the block can catch
No.
on fire, and then the block can burn.
But if there's lava falling onto it, then there can't be fire and lava in the same block.
No, but the lava can spread fire for like up to 3 blocks around it, I'm pretty sure. So. We'll get into a creative world after this.
Defense, I see.
Yeah. We'll get into a creative world after this and just watch lava burn fences. No. But,
I did that for quite a while before this match.
Yeah, I'm sure. It looks like JackHammers was able to secure those diamonds and the strength pot, so they were able to get some diamonds out of this exchange. Dropout still does have 6 blocks, well, to JackHammers only 4. Oh no, I'm sorry, they get 6 as well. There's 6 on both. Okay, so both teams equally matched in terms of diamonds loadouts right now.
6 diamonds each?
Yeah. There's 6 around the strength pot.
There's 4.
There's 4? That's what I thought. Oh yeah, because there's glass on top and bottom. Yeah. Okay. So JackHammers only having 4. I was right the first time. So JackHammers only having 4 blocks to drop out 6. And right now we're at the point of the match where both teams are kind of in the positions where they're getting things done so that later on in the game, they're setting up that infrastructure that we always like to talk about. And right now we're at the point where this kind of quote-unquote stalemate / slow progression on the Iron Cake is happening, where it looks like JackHammers being a little more aggressive. They've staircased up a little bit. Now they'll be flat bridging over towards
it becomes really
side.
problematic when you have 2 teams playing passively, because both of them are unlikely to lose, but they're also unlikely to win.
Exactly, and since Cake Wars is so reactionary, at least from what I found, you really have to depend on the other team. Well, not really depend, but a lot of opportunities arise from other teams either making a move or making a mistake that you can capitalize on.
If you're
so
going
right
to play
now,
passively, you have to wait for things.
Exactly, and so right now, if no team is kind of forcing anything, they're both waiting around for the other team to do something that they can kind of capitalize on, whether it be a push that they fail, push that they can hold. But it looks like Dropout's taking this time to, again, solidify their base and kind of fortify up in there, whereas JackHammers, I don't know if they're doing nearly as much base work. They do have a little bit going on, but not quite to the extent of Dropout. But they are slowly trying to advance this bridge over the Iron Cake. So they might not have all that base work getting done, but they're slowly trying to be put in control around this Iron Cake area, which will allow them to push across, maybe win the fight, and then have control of Dropout's Iron Cake. But right now, Dropout doing a good job of just kind of holding them back. They have 4 or 5 people just kind of shooting them down, and then we of course have these couple people holding down the main cakes just in case. So you don't have anyone run across the mid bridges, which are connected and can be a bit risky. Especially this one over by the strength pot, since it's all cluttery and block spammed. But we do have people keeping an eye on that. And again, they're just kind of progressing this core defense. The only flaw I see in it right now is these blocks directly underneath the core. There hasn't been anything done with them, no fences, or they weren't punched out or anything like that. So if I saw that, I'd probably try to get in here, break up, but probably have to go through quite a few gold blocks to get to the lava. Which is an interesting dynamic on Cake Wars. The core is too thick in basically the entire core, and in some places even 3 thick before you get to lava. So that's something you just kind of have to take into account when you're trying to leak the core once you get over to team sides. But normally teams are in the position where that doesn't matter too much. It's an interesting little thing they got going on. It's where you can't actually jump from the second layer down onto the first layer. You see this? They have that kind of one-way, or like the defense plates are blocking you from being able to get out. So if you take control of the top and then try to get down to the second level, they would have to break their way down. Yeah.
Or you can walk through.
Yeah. That's pretty interesting, actually.
Yeah.
Again, always seeing teams come up with things that are unique and interesting to do on maps like such as these. When you kind of have to, when it's not a very complex map in terms of blocks, it's just 2 islands and you gotta kind of make do with what you got. Teams usually, when they're in those kind of confines, you can see teams come up with a lot of really creative things because they have so many. They're kind of forced to think of something outside the box, since they don't have that many options in terms of what they can do.
I also think that Cake Wars is one of the most complex maps there is, just because it doesn't seem to have a lot going on for it, so to really differentiate yourself from the other team and do very well, You have to be making consecutively like the best calls you can be making and reacting the best way you can.
Yeah, in terms of meta, it's definitely a very complex map, but in terms of just the physical map, it's it's more one of the more straightforward maps. In terms of size and complexity of the blocks and shape and everything like that, it's relatively straightforward. It's 2 islands.
It's cake.
Yeah, it's
literally 2 cakes.
It's 2 island and a big void gap. There's not there's no staircases such as Fractal or like the iron towers in the back such as Fractal. There's nothing quite of that nature. So it looks like we have one member of Dropout pushed across this mid bridge. He was just trying to harass a little bit, and he'll fall back. But that will draw 3 members of JackHammers to kind of keep an eye on him to make sure he doesn't pull anything fishy, pull anything a little sketchy. So pulling people away from that either that iron cake or that base defense with that one man on that mid bridge is a pretty common strategy we're seeing a lot of teams do nowadays. Because if you can have one person that's on this middle bridge that's connected and just kind of be there, not to harass you, but just to be like a thorn on the other team's side, just because they're always thinking about him. Like, if we don't watch this guy, keep an eye on him, he could walk across and he's getting really dangerous. And then if you pay too many people, if you pay attention to him too much, too many people are focused on them, then that opens an opportunity somewhere else on the map. So either your iron cake is a little weak, or maybe your main base, you kind of forget about him, you only have one person up there, and then he can create an opening if he pushes across, does something a little wild, he can get a kill or 2, then that can open up, push right across the middle bridge. So it's a pretty vital position. It looks like Dropout has taken him back, so he's not really in that position anymore, but it is something to keep an eye out for. And who's this? Looks like Santi22 be doing just that, but he's only in leather armor, unfortunately. Yeah, Benny. Yeah, this looks like Santi got pushed back. We do have, Veze being pushed back, and Santi's still here in leather armor. And could be 27 trying to lock down or hold down the their side here. Looks like he's lagging, maybe. Didn't take any. Looks like he's taking a knockback there. Yeah, so a little weird there. And as we can see, slow but consistent progression for the bridges on the Iron Cake. It looks the JackHammers is slowly but surely getting their blocks placed, getting across, and only about a 6 to 7 void gap in between these 2 Iron Cakes now. And once you see those connected, the game will most likely pick up pace relatively quickly. You'll see teams trying to make things happen on that Iron Cake, either push across, take it back, and once that happens, then the whole game kind of changes. Because once a team's either in control of the Iron Cake or the other team's Iron Cake, that's where you'll be seeing a lot of plays happening where they're pushing down on top of the other team's cake, and honestly that could spell the end of the game for the team that loses control. So this is a pretty vital part of the map, is keeping control of your own Iron Cake, and if you lose control, being able to take it back or having the iron supplies on your main cake to where you'd be in the position to. And I think that right now Dropout's doing a better job at that than JackHammers. JackHammers still has quite a bit of iron left on their Iron Cake, whereas Dropout has very little, which means to me that they most likely mined a bunch of it, brought it back to their base, and if they ever lose control of their Iron Cake, they will be in a bad position because they won't have control, but they will have armor at least, which will definitely help them either hold down their base or try to win a fight and take back that Iron Cake if ever need be. So trying to find that chest right now, but so I'm not gonna dig through all of them, but yeah, well, I'm sure it's here somewhere. A chest just chock full of iron. And Dropout has what, 6 people up here on this Iron Cake, which is actually, a relatively good spread, especially now since they've gotten the majority of the base work done. They can afford to have 6, maybe even 7, I think at this point, people up here on this Iron Cake. And then once you see that you're winning the numbers game, which they definitely are right now in the Iron Cake, whereas JackHammer only has 5 people, and a 6 come up now, so it is even now right now. But once you ever see that opportunity, that moment where you're either winning the numbers game or someone's gotten very weak, then you can maybe use that as an opportunity to push across. Looks like one member of JackHammers dropped down onto where Dropout's bridge to the diamonds used to be, but Dropout actually being very smart, and they broke what used to connect them, but not very far. Oh!
JackHammers pushing that bridge.
And JackHammers, he misses the parkour block jump and falls out of the world, unfortunately. Could be very interesting. It's only one player, but again, one player can have a massive impact in terms of pulling a member off, and actually JackHammers pushing across.
Back.
Yeah, he actually managed to get one person on top of the cake and cause a little chaos, and Santi22 doing something sneaky, he gets himself a touch. So that
he's out.
yeah, he's out of the... Sorry about that, guys. He's out of the world immediately, but he does manage to get a touch, which is huge for his team. They'll propel them into the lead right now, with 15 minutes into the match.
It does mean that eventually Dropout has to make a move.
Yeah, that kind of forces Dropout's hand, where now, obviously they're going to be, going through the leak and everything like that, but they may be forced to be a little more aggressive now, because if JackHammers chose to do so, they could be a little more defensive. I don't think they will be, only because
it's difficult to be for so long.
It's very difficult, and I also think that you're better off going for the win or the control rather than stalemating or trying to hold off for the next 45 minutes. But again, later on in the match, if we get down to the point where it's like 10 minutes and neither team has gotten anything done, then JackHammers has that option then, to where they're not pressed to make a move, whereas Dropout will be pressed to make a move because they won't be in the lead, and they know that. So if it doesn't happen relatively soon, if this match does take a little while and we get towards that later end of the match, 15 minutes left, 10 minutes left, Dropout's really going to be getting kind of antsy, where they need to get something done, and JackHammers is going to be comfortable enough to where they don't have to worry about it because they know they're in the lead, unless Dropout is able to push over and take control. But again, at that point, you never know how teams are going to be armored up or suited up, and how they'll be able to deal with pushes and stuff like that. So I wonder if Santi22, when he got the touches, ran across his mid bridge. I imagine that's what he did, but I didn't catch him getting across. So pretty interesting there, and good play by him, of course. And interestingly enough, JackHammers has, looks like five people. Yeah, 5 people on their main cake right now. So surprisingly, a little amount of people up on their iron cake, which is a little risky, only because if Dropout realizes this thing can connect or get above them, which actually, it looks like JackHammers is going to be going for a push across this iron bridge right now with less numbers than Dropout. So this will be interesting. They only have 5 people up here.
I think they honestly have the advantage right now, because if you look at how they are at height limit, whereas these guys are on a staircase, when they hit them, they're going to take 5-6 hearts if they get knocked back the full staircase.
And we have a push coming in from the middle, so this looks like a coordinated thing where people from JackHammers push across the mid bridge, and then we're going to most likely have a push coming across on the iron cake. And they're just both swimming these guys down, and we still have one member up on top of their main cake.
This guy has speed. He can easily win that fight, which means he's going to maybe force some people off the iron. There's one going down.
Yeah, just for now inside their base.
Now.
Just for now inside their base, causing a lot of damage. He manages to get 1 kill, 2 kill, blocks himself in. It's a really smart play, especially with the way their defense is set up. That could be an opening for him to get another touch. Let's see, where I'm stuck inside this block. That's another touch for JackHammers, and let's see if that push came across in the iron on. It's coming across right now. Just for now was taken out, but this push came across, and it looks like to be an even trade so far. Actually, 3 members of JackHammers getting taken out, and then 2 more coming from Dropout. So right now it's actually a 3v3. I think is only 2 left. 2 people fighting now. We have Knight taking on.
Diamonds though.
Yeah, Wenzu coming in.
They're not going to get knocked out.
No,
Dropout's going to win that fight.
Dropout comes on top. Now if they're smart, they'll be fast and they're going to get up, and that's exactly what they're doing. They're getting up, getting across this bridge, and they'll use that opportunity. They got pushed, but they won the fight. So now they can take that opportunity, push across onto JackHammers' iron cake, and now they're in the more dominant side. They may have been the one to push, but this is what we were talking about. If you're gonna play passive, you have to wait for the other team to do something, and that's exactly what just happened. Dropout was waiting. They're playing very passive, and then JackHammers was again slowly pushing towards that iron cake, extending the bridge.
Reacted well.
And exactly, they got pushed, they won the fight, and they reacted well. So now they're taking that, and they're using that as their catalyst to push across, take control of Dropout's iron cake, and now they'd be in a much more favorable side. Or JackHammers' iron cake, excuse me. Now they're in a much more favorable position. And especially as I was talking about before, JackHammers didn't do a lot of work in getting a lot of iron from their iron cake, so it could get risky where they're going to have a lot of naked people trying to hold this down. Yeah, it's going to be really scary for them. And unless they can pull off some more sneaky stuff across that middle bridge, which they have done, and they, been relatively successful with getting those 2 touches. Not near a leak just yet. But they are only 1 block away. If they get back to the same spot, they only have to break 1 gold block to get to the lava. So it's an interesting little tidbit there. But as it stands right now, Dropout definitely in the more favorable position, being in control of this iron cake, and JackHammers having very minimal iron for them to use, as we can see. Just for now is naked up on top of their cake, and it looks like a couple other members. Yeah, Nanho is naked as well. So it's a bit unfortunate that they're not gonna have the supplies to hold this pushback. And if I were a betting man, I'd be betting on Dropout right now. It looks like Santi actually ran across the middle bridge just then again, but he was knocked out of the world. And this will be JackHammers kind of scrambling right now to figure out how we're going to react to this, what are we going to do, and how we're going to get back into a fair position. There's a couple things they can do here, one of which is this underbridge that's actually been established to get across and up from underneath the Iron Cake and kind of take a fight there, maybe surprise the other team. Looks like Franco guy was the one doing that. But or they could decide to push across this mid bridge, which is also pretty viable. But the only problem with that is when they push across the mid bridge, which they're doing right now, looks like Alferno and Negron, they have to be aware of the fact that Dropout could just push down onto their main cake. But if Knight and just Ferno can kind of take on this 2v3, I think there's only 3 members of Dropout in the base. One of them down by the core, breaking the glass and trying to go for the touch. That's Inferno, and we have one more Nick guy, Santi22. Bridging, and he's on top of the core. This is actually really crazy. And Dropout pushing down to the top of the JackHammers cakes. This is gonna be a race to leak, basically. I hear lava flowing out, and that is lava flowing. Santi22 has got lava flowing out the side of the core here, but he's gonna have to deal with those fence plates or those fences, because it's gonna stop the lava from leaking. And Dropout is very aware of this happening, but they still need to figure out a way to stop this. They have to block it up, and Santi needs to break some of his fences. He actually managed to fist one member of Dropout out of the world, and the other one is on fire. So he needs to go get rid of one of these fence plates, or he needs to break that glass. But oh, he gets taken out from the back. That defender did a great job, and it looks like that whole encounter will end up in favor of JackHammers, because they still have members running around in full iron around Dropout's. Oh no, yeah. Who is this from Dropout? Kind of mine this core. Looks like those crafting tables might have saved JackHammers there, but the reason I said it came out in favor of JackHammers is because Dropout, they pushed down that cake onto JackHammers' main cake, but weren't able to hold it. So JackHammers did a great job because they pushed across the middle bridge and were able to cause enough chaos on Dropout's side that they were able to win the fight on their main cake and didn't actually lose any control. So now both teams are kind of in the same position where they're running around their base. Neither team having any member up on... Oh, but Ogre Rope breaking a piece of the core for JackHammers, and he's actually in Dynasty's base, but I don't know if he's been spotted. And it looks like we have another member. It looks like Santi22 is back in the same thought he is in, and he knows exactly what he has to do to leak this core, and he'll most likely be doing just that. I don't know if he's been spotted or Ogre Rope. And we have a couple members of Dynasty, or Dropout, I don't know why I said Dynasty, actually falling out of the world there. Ooh, Santi on fire. That's not good. He really needs to get this lava going. They have lava going all over the place. He's taken out from the back. Or he was burned to death. But this is getting real scary for Dropout here, because they have lava pouring out from so many different directions. It's going to be really tough to block this core up and stop them from going everywhere. But these fence plates are really doing a lot of work saving them from this leak right now, because it has yet to leak out into the void, luckily. So the fence is actually doing a lot of work and really coming in clutch right there. Let's see, who is this? We have Koopy27 on the side of JackHammers' cake. Not sure if he's been spotted. He'll most likely bridge right towards. And we have a defender right here staring right at him. Oh, he's just gonna fist him right off the core. I don't know if he has the supplies.
One guy's leaking it right now, dude. Overran. One guy's getting leak going. He might have gotten it there. He's close. It's going. I think that's game.
Oh wow, he got it from underneath. Yeah, that'll be GG. JackHammers.
He boxed himself in over here and then broke it from here.
Wow, good job. So, GG.